He says, how much of a part does the mismatch between more group-selected, non-mutated individuals and the culture of modernity play in the increased prevalence of nihilism, anxiety, and psychopathology?
The basic thesis is precisely that. When you have individuals in charge of managing culture or generating culture who are not innately oriented towards groupish type pursuits, so they're not religious, they're not monumentalistic in their thinking and orientation, they're not civilizationally oriented, they don't think about the glory of God or the glory of their civilization. They think in terms of non-group selected referential frames. They have an inordinate interest in, say, absolute complete fungibility of all social roles, and that all differences are due to just social stigma and discrimination and privilege and stereotypes, and that there's no natural variation, it's all just due to contingent power relations. So, those sort of beliefs, and when you have people who are really committed to that as a kind of moral prior, and when those people are in a position of social authority, then they will create a virtue out of those values. And in so doing, they will colour the society in terms of what becomes fashionable for people to espouse and promulgate. So, yes, we have these people as our elite, and so everybody runs around imitating them because people imitate the successful. But if you replace those people with people who are high on flexhumility, with people who are high on monumentalism, which is the more group-selected orientation, they make a virtue out of those monumentalist values, then all of a sudden you'd find people running around doing the opposite thing, going to church and having bigger families and thinking in civilizational timeframes, rather than thinking about what food they can stuff in their mouth the next day, which is the abiding interest of the majority of people in the West today. So, essentially a lot hinges on the composition of the elite, and on the orientation of the elite and the value system they hold dear. And if indeed you have the odd epistatic mutant among the elite, someone who's really committed to pushing for things which are actively bad, not just for them as individuals, but for the entire group, then you have a terrible problem, because that will lead to all sorts of negative behavioral trends arising within the population, such as increases in rates of depression, dropping testosterone levels, decreasing religiosity. This is not just us saying this. We have data on this. These statements are backed up empirically. That's pretty much how I see the relationship between the position of the elite and the health of society as a whole. They're intimately linked with one another.